What's up, everyone? Rob Banks from the Red Cup Review. Today, we celebrate the life of a horror movie legend, George Romero, who died at the age of 79. George Romero is the father of the modern zombie genre. You know, a lot of people out there like The Walking Dead. Well, if it wasn't for George Romero, you wouldn't fucking have The Walking Dead. Okay? So, those of you who don't know who he is need to do your homework, because George Romero was an awesome dude. He was a great movie maker. Even his movies that weren't so good had a lot of heart in them. And in 1968, he created a classic with Night of the Living Dead, and that pretty much launched horror movies for the next like 2-3 decades. And he influenced many of modern day directors. So there's no other better way to commemorate his life than to have Red Cup Review, myself, give you their top 10 favorite zombie movies of all time. So we're going to start the list with from number 10 going to number 1. And number 10, I'm going to start off with, and before I even get into that, I want to let you know that this isn't a list of what I think are the best made movies. These are just my favorite movies. Okay, so some of these movies are actually considered bombs and sucky B movies, and I don't care, because this is my list. And in the comments, you guys can rip me a new asshole and talk about how I'm stupid and I don't know what I'm talking about. And you can give your own list of your favorite zombie movies, and feel free to mention the ones that I didn't put on this list. So make sure to leave that in the comment section. Anyways, on with the top 10 list. Number 10, Dead Heat from 1988, starring Joe Piscopo and Treat Williams. I happen to love this movie. It was a great B-list B movie. It was critically panned at the time, but became a classic years later. When I was a young kid, I used to sneak and take VHS tape that this was taped on, and watch it. It was not a movie I should have been watching at that time. You know, kill himself, would you? That was a really cool line that stuck with me after all these years. It was just a fun movie. It had like some reanimation stuff going on in it. I don't know if you want to call it technically a zombie movie, because characters in the movie do die and come back to life. But it was on the zombie movie list in Wikipedia when I typed in zombie movies, and this just happened to be one of my favorite movies that was on the list. So, Dead Heat, cool movie, lots of fun, lots of 80s cheese in there too. Number 9, Zombieland. Zombieland was a movie that I didn't quite like all that much when I first saw it. I mean, I thought it was cool. Had a really awesome ending with the showdown at the amusement park, but it's got Woody Harrelson in it, and it's got to be a good movie, right? It's got a couple of cool actors in it. It's got a really awesome cameo from Bill Murray. So that was a pretty funny scene. It was just a cool, refreshing take on the zombie genre at the time when it came out, and I know a lot of people liked this movie as well. Number 8, Planet Terror from Grindhouse from Robert Rodriguez. I happen to really enjoy this movie. It's most definitely a zombie movie. Military experiments with the army. It's got a lot of really cool, cheesy one-liners with the, I never miss, for those of you that have seen the movie. It was a lot of fun. I really liked the Grindhouse feel. It was done excellently with the, the little pixelation and crackling film that was added on in post-production. It was just an all-around fun movie. And it has a lot of great actors in it. Josh Brolin's in it. I mean, it's a lot of fun. Number 7, Return of the Living Dead, 1988. This is one of the first movies that actually scared the shit out of me as a kid. Another movie I should not have been seeing at the time, but I did. It was kind of like has like a lot of comedy in it as well, which I found weird when I was looking through the list of zombie movies. There's a lot of the zombie genre has a lot of comedy mixed in there, and social commentary, which I found pretty fascinating. This movie doesn't really have much social commentary. It's just a fun movie. It's got a lot of gore in it. It's the first movie to introduce zombies eating brains to survive and stop the pain that they feel from being dead. It has a little bit of sci-fi element in there as well. I thought it was cool, fun, scared the shit out of me as a kid. All right, keep the list moving. What are we up to? Number 6, Night of the Living Dead, the classic that launched it all. George Romero's classic, in black and white, 1968. This movie pretty much revolutionized horror movies at the time. It was a very simple movie about a bunch of people that get together to have to fend off the horde of walking zombies. They get stuck in a farmhouse, and the movie focuses more on the actual people and the situation they're in, and that's kind of what, you know, the movie situation about zombies, like even in the Walking Dead TV show, it's really less about the zombies and more about the people and the relationships and how they have to kind of work together to survive. So that element's in there. It's pretty cool. It's creepy. It's got the really creepy little girl that's in all the promo shots for it. When she rolls up on her mother with the scissors in the basement, you know, and the zombies corner her and stuff. It's pretty spooky, and to this day, it still is. Let's see. Number 5, Dawn of the Dead, 1978, which is probably considered one of the best, if not the best, of the genre. A lot of social commentary there about the military, and it's about a group of people that get stuck once again in a mall and have to fend for their lives against a horde of zombies. It's got a lot more gore in it than the original. This is the sequel to Night of the Living Dead. Came basically 10 years after the original, a George Romero classic, but I have it a little lower on my list because there are just movies that I happen to like better, even though this was a pretty well-made movie. Number 4, right? We're on 4. Dawn of the Dead. Yep, number 4. Evil Dead 2. What an awesome, funny movie, man. I mean, this launched Ash. This took Bruce Campbell, who's known for this, to a whole new level. It was a very cool movie, fun. It has the Necronomicon in it, about a bunch of kids that go up to a cabin in the woods and wake the living dead. It's not necessarily a zombie movie per se, but it was on that list, and it's one of my favorite movies, so I'm going with it. Hail to the King. Bruce Campbell's the man. It's got a cool ending where they open up a portal and it sucks Bruce Campbell back in time. It's just a fun movie. It's got a lot of comedy in it. I happen to like it better than the original. I think it was a better made movie. It's got a lot more gore in it. It's got that really cool monster that comes through the window at the end with the giant head. It's really cheesy looking by today's standards, but it's still kind of fucked up and gory looking and messed up, and I kind of happen to like practical effects, so it's high up on my list. Number 3, Day of the Dead from 1985. This was my favorite out of the George Romero movies, just because when I was a young kid and I saw it, I thought it was definitely one of the goriest movies I had ever seen. I mean, a dude gets literally torn in half, and then the camera goes through the zombies actually eating this guy's insides as he basically dies in front of everyone. It takes place mostly in a military base. The Day of the Dead, there was when they try to have new ideas of trying to take zombies and teach them things, and there's the main zombie in the movie where the scientist tries to teach him how to point a gun or answer a phone and all that stuff. So that was pretty cool. Nice, interesting little twist. So it's not just zombies walking after you coming to get you again, and it was gory as fuck. So definitely check it out if you're a horror fan. Number 2. Here's where I'm going to get a whole bunch of flack, but I don't care because I thought the movie was awesome. Dawn of the Dead, the 2004 Zack Snyder remake. I thought the movie was kick-ass. It was a lot of fun. It was just a fun fucking movie, man. I mean, once again, it was the remake of the 1978 version. A bunch of people stuck in a mall. There's only so much you can do with it, but Ving Rhames played a cool character. It's got a couple of character actors in the movie. It has a cool ending twist where they finally make it to the island, and then the horde of zombies gets them, basically saying, you ain't escaping death. And I had a kick-ass time watching it in the theater. I thought it was pretty cool. And number 1, it's time for the big letdown, as all things must come to an end. My favorite zombie movie of all time, and this is probably not considered a classic zombie movie, but I don't give a shit because it was on the list and I'm putting it here. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, and that's Army of Darkness, 1992. This is totally Hail to the King. Give me some sugar, baby. This is Bruce Campbell at his best. The movie's hilarious. It's not very gory. It's chock full of laughs, and I happen to like it. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's pretty bad, actually, but it's so bad it's good. It's one of those movies that's laughably bad, but still pretty good because of those reasons. He gets actually transported back in time the way Evil Dead 2 ends, and has to basically make his way back into the modern era from the time of, I guess, the Knights of the Round Table and King Arthur and all that stuff. That type of world he's in, and then he has to make his way back into modern times. So and it's just a fun movie, man. There's no other way to describe it besides the fact that Bruce Campbell is at his absolute best in this movie, in my opinion. Honorable mention goes to the Night of the Living Dead remake in 1990. That was a pretty cool movie as well. I actually saw that movie before I saw the 1968 version, and I had to include it as an honorable mention here because I had seen it before the original, and it was still a pretty well-made movie. That's my list. Take it or leave it. Leave your comments in the sections below. Tell me how fucking stupid I am for leaving certain movies off the list, like Shaun of the Dead, and I'm sure there's a chock full of other, better zombie movies. There are a few movies that I left off the list that I'm sure are great movies, but I left them off because either one, I didn't happen to like them, or two, I just didn't see it. I'm not a zombie expert. I never claimed to be. I'm not a movie critic. This is the Red Cup Review.
But I'm dead inside.
But so, Red Cup Review, saying we'll see you in the next review. Make sure to leave a comment. Make sure to subscribe to us. And we'll see you around.